Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz is getting sucked further into scandal after the man he allegedly paid to deliver girls to him further implicated him in criminal activity. Joining me tonight to talk about this is Farron Cousins with Trial Lawyer Magazine, absolutely the best progressive in the business.
Thank you.
Your reporting just gets better and better. I've known you since you were a child. Every year it gets better, Farron, really it does. So let's really nail this story. I look at this story, and it gets weirder by the moment. You got Roger Stone kicking around in there. You got confession letters kicking around. You got Matt Gaetz hiring lawyers. He's lawyering up, paying money through his campaign income to pay his way through this. So give me your take on this story.
Right off the top, I think, look, Matt Gaetz understands how much trouble he is in, and there's no way he can even spin himself out of it at this point. But what we found out late last week, the Daily Beast, who, by the way, has done a phenomenal job on this story. You know, we always talk about how journalism's dead. The Daily Beast doing some great work here.
Good.
But, they published these letters that they had gotten from Greenberg, where he wrote these letters to Roger Stone at Stone's request saying, hey, I'll try to get you the pardon, because that's what they had been talking about in this private messaging app that Greenberg, for some reason, screenshotted the conversations, so we know all this is true.
Now, this is one that's supposed to disappear.
Right.
Yeah,
They're supposed to disappear
Called
after
Signal.
After 5 seconds, but Greenberg said, let me save it. So he writes confession letters at Roger Stone's request, because Roger Stone was going to take these to Donald Trump and to the Pardon Committee and to Pat Cipollini. And, of course, Roger Stone, at the end of all of it, and this is skipping a lot of info, but Roger Stone couldn't secure the pardon for Greenberg, but did eventually get one for himself. So it worked out for Stone, not so much for Greenberg, and by extension, Matt Gaetz.
Sounds like the Confederacy of dunces.
It really
to tell you
is.
the truth. Okay, so $250,000 is on the table. Roger, you go get me this pardon, and you're going to make $250,000. And, oh, by the way, if you get it by the end of tomorrow, I'm going to give you an extra $50,000. Well, Roger comes into it, says, you know, I did my best, but something you need to know, Joel, and that is that Matt Gaetz told me that he didn't want me to help you. He wants you out there swinging in the wind, basically, right?
Yeah, and that is what shocked Greenberg, because Greenberg, in a previous conversation, had told Roger Stone, listen, I am under tremendous pressure from the feds, from the authorities, to start flipping on MG, as they called him in the conversations, Matt Gaetz. So they wanted him to flip, but he was reluctant to do so because he thought he was going to get a pardon. I don't need to cut a deal with these people because everything's going to be okay. And then Stone tells him, hey, your good friend is the one who interfered. And it broke poor Greenberg's heart. He was so distraught after that, he said, oh, wow. He didn't know what to do. And I think that was the point where he probably picked up his phone to his lawyers and said, all right, it's time to play Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah, so the quote is, he actually said not to help. That's what Stone is reporting to Joel. Okay, this is, you know how this goes, right? So we talked about this as soon as the first time we reported this story, this is where we said it was going to go. It's there. Here's where it's going next. They're talking to the underage girl who now is 19 years old. And so they're saying to her, you're interfering with this to the point that it's obstruction of justice. But the interference alone, even before you get to the serious obstruction of justice, is a very serious kind of thing. She doesn't want to spend any time in prison.
Right.
She's being told she can. Take it from
right.
there.
I mean, she's got her whole life ahead of her. You know, she's still young, figuring things out. Didn't realize at such a young age she was going to be involved in a scandal of this magnitude. And of course, we also find out that allegedly she had lied about her age to Greenberg and Gaetz. And, Greenberg tried to say, oh, look what you've done. This is horrible, young lady. We don't know if she actually lied or if they knew and didn't care.
It doesn't make any difference.
Right.
I mean, statutory rape. Look, but what he says is this is Greenberg, says Matt Gaetz and I both had sex with the underage girl. So obviously he's not making that up. Right. He's saying, I'm telling you, I did it and Matt Gaetz did it. I don't see a quick way. Oh, and then Joel says to Stone, Joel Greenberg says to Stone, I pray the Lord will help. Almost just really dark kind of contrast here. It's almost a sociopathic kind of reality, isn't it?
It is.
As you watch this story, you see sociopath everywhere, and the sociopath reality that everybody's caught up in, right?
Right. Well, and Matt Gaetz has never had to face any consequences for any of his problems in the past. You know, Daddy got him out of the DUIs. In fact, the cop that actually pulled him over and gave him the DUI, the cop ended up getting fired. That's how much power Daddy had here in the state of Florida. But Dad can't help you now, Matt. He's not involved in any of this. He doesn't have any power over these investigative bodies. You're in deep trouble. And at one point, too, Greenberg even said, you know, I've already told everybody you're going to need to hire a lawyer. And this was about a year ago he said that to everybody.
Didn't you love when the quote Greenberg says, "You think Gaetz is going to visit me in prison?" It gets crazy. Greenberg says, "I feel abandoned." Yeah, well, he's abandoned by his pal, I can tell you that, because his pal is fighting for not only his political life, but the right to stay out of prison.
Right. I mean, that's what's really on the table now for Matt Gaetz. It's evolved beyond trying to save his seat.
Yeah.
Now he's actually trying to save his behind.
Yeah, you got it in many ways.